Hey, everybody, this is Jim Babcock. I'm going to be hosting today, and we are in the mode right now where people are joining us for our State of the City reception. Now, the great thing about this reception is it's at your house, and you can do whatever you want. Like right now, I'm wearing blue for Dodgers, but I have no pants on. And I think that is the way to have this reception. So we are going to start promptly at 5 o'clock. So we are going to wait for folks to arrive. But I thought while we're waiting, and because it's just me talking and I don't want it to be boring, we came up with some kind of fun Burbank facts that I thought might be interesting to you. Now, I'm going to start with, first of all, when I was a kid and I used to watch Laugh-In. People out there, I think, watched Laugh-In, hopefully. I'm not the only one. I was born when the earth was cooling, but I'm not that old. And I remember being in Jackson, Michigan, watching Laugh-In and them talking about beautiful downtown Burbank. And I was like, where on earth is beautiful downtown Burbank? If somebody had told me in Jackson, Michigan, that I was hosting something for the beautiful city of Burbank, which I love and have been a resident of, I would be very proud, and I am proud today. So the other cool thing I learned the other day was if you've been to the pavilions on Alameda, you guys have been to the pavilions, that's where they filmed the drive-in movie scene for Grease, which is one of my favorite movies. So I'm not going to lie to you that I was in the parking lot last night singing some Grease songs. Stranded at the drive-in, Branded a Fool. Yep. People looked at me and they were like, God, he's sad. So I think that's cool. But I've got some other fun facts. You can use these facts and be the expert on Burbank. You can talk about it at dinner. You can talk about it with people on the street. Just wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. If you're wondering why I'm not wearing a mask, I am in a room by myself, which is exactly like high school was for me. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. So number one, Warner Brothers, proud citizen of Burbank. They are going to be opening up a new welcome center, which is kind of a portal to their studio lot tour. Now, granted, that's not going on right now, but at some point it will. 2020 will transition. And so we are very excited that they're putting the final touches on this new welcome center. No opening date yet, but when you go in, it's state of the art. It's got more immersive sets, dynamic exhibits, and it's the beginning of their tour. So that's something to look forward to, a Burbank Welcome Center. There you go. If you didn't know that, now you can be like, I know that. We also you're going to be hearing a lot about the Talleyrand restaurant, which is hands down one of my favorite restaurants in the city. It's fun. I've had some of my most fun times there. They are still going strong today. They've got, tables set up in their parking lot. But I don't know if you guys know this. The Talleyrand began in 1959, just about like me. And Al and Dolores Thomas, they came to Burbank from the Midwest with only $5,000, and they opened this modest shop on Olive Avenue. Everybody loves it. I think if you've lived in Burbank and you never went to Talleyrand, you've never been to Burbank. That's how I feel. They're celebrating their 61st anniversary. Love them. Big, exciting news. Netflix coming to Burbank, not just on your TV, but their offices. They are going to open up a brand new animation studio, which is just to grow their LA footprint. 171,000 square feet. This is going to be at the Burbank Empire Center. It's the largest new office lease space in LA this year. So that's very exciting for Burbank. If you're enjoying this show so far, next year, if we're still in this situation where we can't get together, the reception is going to be on Netflix. I'm making that call. That's what's going to happen. So that's exciting. So Netflix coming to Burbank. Disney has been a part of Burbank since 1939, believe it or not. They broke ground for their studio on Buena Vista in 1939. They opened it in 1940. But the cool thing is we ran across a letter from, you can't see it. It really is a letter. It's the letter from Walt Disney, and he was planning on being at the groundbreaking or the grand opening ceremony for Providence, right across the street, neighbors right across the street. And he couldn't be there because he had to be out of town for 2 weeks. And so he wrote a letter to Mother Marcion, saying that he was so happy that they were going to be neighbors across the street. This would be a lifelong relationship, which it has been, between Providence and Disney. And he wrote this lovely letter. And even though you can't see it, it is the real letter. And I will be putting that on eBay this evening for lots of money. Of course, I'm kidding. What else can I tell you? The Big B on the hill in Burbank. You've seen the Big B if you're like driving up to Castaway and you see a B up there. It's been there since the 1920s. It's been there for 100 years. And it was, for decades, Burbank High School's Key Club had maintained it before renovating a big overhaul 10 years ago. And the current B that sits there, again, you did not know this. You saw the B and you were like, ba. I got to tell you, this is compliments, this new B that was renovated 10 years ago is compliments of the Leadership Burbank class of 2010, which has a tagline, by the way, of for an even better Burbank. They did this all in anticipation of our 100th anniversary, which is what we are celebrating this year. 100 years of Burbank. I love that. I wonder what it was before Burbank. We were just, you know, just donut prints on Olive. That was all there was. Next up, and this cracks me up because there is a myth, not a myth, I don't have a lisp, a myth that Burbank got its name from a guy named David Burbank, who was a dentist who immigrated from the East Coast to the Burbank area. It's a lie. And if somebody tells you this, I want you to be like, don't even let him finish. Go, liar. And because you have a mask on, you'll say it even louder. The real story behind the city of Burbank's name is this. All Burbank residents should be honored and proud to have the first human habitation on Mars named Luther City in honor of Luther Burbank, an American botanist who lived in the late 19th and early 20th century. And that's who Burbank was named after, not a dentist. Okay, so just in case you were wondering. We are going to be starting in just a couple minutes. And the great thing is, this is the State of the City reception. It is hosted by the fabulous Burbank Chamber of Commerce, who does amazing things for the city. And we are proud that they're going to be hosting this year virtually. And then at 6 o'clock, we have our State of the City address with the mayor, and we will tell you how to tune in to that so that you can go from this show right into the next show. Now, I know you guys are watching the Dodgers. Don't lie to me. So that is why we have the blue on tonight. Go Dodgers, go blue. This is the first game of the World Series. We, of course, are interested, but I want one eye on the Dodgers and one eye on this show. And I got to tell you, if you want to see base runs, if you want to see a grand slam, if you want to see a home run, I can do all that here. I've got enough room because I'm by myself in a room in the middle of Burbank. It's okay. So we're going to start in just a couple minutes, but we've got a lot of great things. Our theme tonight is surviving to thriving, how Burbank is doing business after a crazy year. 2020 has brought a lot of challenges our way. So tonight is really all about how some of our businesses have reinvented themselves. And you're going to hear from some amazing people that have given us their time to share how their business has not only survived, but thrived this year. We also have a raffle. There's going to be clowns. There's a parade float, puppet show. Everything is going to be packed into this hour. I may not have been honest about all of those things. If you are just joining us, welcome to our Burbank show. This is State of the City reception. And I got to tell you that in the past, this has been a luncheon. And we thought about how can we do a luncheon in 2020? And it was just messy. I would have had to take food to all of your houses, and we would have been online watching each other eat, and nobody wants to see that. So we thought to ourselves, how can we make this fun? And of course, their first thought was get Jim. because come on. So I'm here again by myself in a room in Burbank, and we're going to have some fun for the next 40 or 45 minutes. And we'll get started in just a second. Oh, I'm getting some messages here. This and by the way, this is Burbank's 100th anniversary. It's also my 100th birthday today. Just in lighting, yay for this. Okay, but this is okay. I'm reading chats here. Burbank Chambers 100th. Burbank Chambers 100th. So it's not Burbank's 100th. It's Burbank Chambers 100th. I'm sorry, Burbank. Luther Burbank, if you're watching from wherever. This is the Burbank Chamber of Commerce's 100th anniversary. You can see that with this little logo right here that I'm pointing at right here. Isn't that cool? So there you go. Thank you for correcting me, folks. My goodness. All right, we are going to start in just a second. I'm going to turn my video off and we're going to pop back on in just a second. Stay tuned. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Babcock. Welcome to our State of the City reception. Thank you for dialing in and being here. We are so thrilled. This is our reception, and of course, hosted by the fabulous Burbank Chamber of Commerce. Burbank Chamber of Commerce 100th anniversary right here. So let's give them a round of applause. 100th anniversary. Great city of Burbank. We are glad to have everybody in the Zoom meeting today. This is awesome. 2020 has been different. 2020 has been crazy. So of course, this year our reception can't be a luncheon. We tried to figure out how we could do a luncheon online, just wasn't pretty. So we are having our reception here. The great thing about the reception is you can eat whatever you want. You go out to the refrigerator, get what you want, get something to drink, get another drink. You can mute yourself, yell at the kids. It's awesome. You could. I'm not wearing pants. That's how exciting this is for me. So today is our reception, all leading up to our State of the City address at 6 o'clock, which we will tell you how to tune in for as well. But again, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, 100 years in this fabulous city. We are so thrilled that they are here. We also had a raffle. We're having a raffle, and we have put names in of people that have joined us, and we already have winners, which is fantastic. Now, I got to tell you, the two prizes that are out there, number one, $50 gift certificate at Talleyrand, which is fabulous. One of my favorite restaurants. You're going to hear a lot about Talleyrand today. And if you haven't been there of late, they're open. They're serving. You got to go. But the winner of the $50 gift card for Talleyrand is none other than Hank Kaplan, Burbank Transportation Management Organization. Hank, you don't need that whole $50. I'll go with you. You let me know. I will be out front with a mask on, 6 feet away from you, but I will be there. All right. The other amazing gift that we have is our Chamber of Commerce standalone e-blast, which is worth 250 big ones. That's what I say. And the winner of that is, and I'm looking here, it is Teresa Garcia Real Estate, Media West Realty. So Teresa, yay, you get a standalone media blast, $250. That is awesome. Now, you've probably been seeing all the logos that are popping up and you're like, I love that company. I love that company. Well, we love those companies too. Those are our fabulous sponsors, and we appreciate them helping us out today and helping us out all year. If you're looking up there and you're seeing amazing companies, it's because they are amazing. They make Burbank what it is today. And tonight we're celebrating Burbank. We also have some amazing people joining us on the Zoom call, community leaders, which we're happy to have. Number one, we have city council members, Bob Frutos, Emily Gable Luddy, Tim Murphy, and Jess Talamantes. And Jess, thank you for the correction on the 100 years. I appreciate it. I owe you a dinner at the Talleyrand. I'm just saying. We also have a district rep for our Senator Anthony Portantino, and that is Arda Tachakian. She is here. We have City Manager Justin Hess. We have Assistant City Manager Judy Wilkie. They're all here. Our wonderful mayor, Sharon Springer, she wanted to be here. She's getting ready for the 6 o'clock meeting. We told her, I guess they win, not us. No, we gave her a pass for that. And we are thrilled that she is going to be at the meeting at 6 o'clock, but she's here in spirit. So Sharon, thank you for all your support throughout the year. So I am looking over to see, I think we are ready to introduce our panelists. As I mentioned before, our theme tonight is surviving to thriving. And 2020 has been a crazy year for all of us, personally, professionally, just it's changed everything. We all know that. I'm not going to say the word unprecedented because it's been said too many times this year and I want to shut it down. But what I would like to do tonight is to share some great information from different Burbank-based companies. And we have 4 leaders here representing 4 different companies. And guys, if you want to turn your videos on so that we can see your beautiful faces, and when I introduce you very quickly, if you want to wave, that would be fantastic, or a cartwheel, or whatever you would like to do. If you want to break something in your house, it's all good. But go ahead and turn your videos and your first of all, we have the President and Chief Creative Officer of Petrol Advertising. And that, my friends, is Alan Hunter. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about Petrol, celebrating 17 years strong and still growing, award-winning departments for 360 strategic campaign services, and have brought 1,500 games to market. So we're going to be hearing from Alan and Petrol in just a second. We also have Karen Ross, owner of the Talleyrand restaurant. She's paying me $5 every time I say the word Talleyrand. So Talleyrand. She is the owner. It's a family-based restaurant. They've been around for 61 years. She's also one of the Burbank Restaurant Support Group founders, along with Betty Porto of Porto's Bakery, which we love, the cafe and bakery, and then Kevin McCarney of Paquito Moss, right there on Olive. We love Paquito Moss. So they are, Karen is also part of this group as well. Our third panelist is Kelly Linden. Kelly is Chief Executive of Providence St. Joseph Medical Center since 1943. As I mentioned, they joined us in 1943, and by the Sisters of Providence. They're Burbank-based hospital. They run a full range of diagnostic, treatment, care, support, and services for all of our San Fernando communities. So we are very glad to have you here, Kelly. And then last but not least, we have Kathy Ross, who is president of the Magnolia Park Merchants Association. And she's also the owner of a specialty store called Blast from the Past. If you haven't gone, go. The association was started, that she belongs to, in 2014 to support the needs of the stores in Magnolia Park and also focus on the safety and success of the Magnolia Park shopping area. So those are our 4 different panelists, and we're going to ask them some questions. Hard-hitting questions. You know, this is like, I keep checking for a fly in my hair. It's just weird. I wanted to make sure that there is not a fly in my hair. But we're going to start with you, Alan. Is that cool? Alan, can you hear me? Is that okay, Alan? I see. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me,
Yeah,
Alan?
yes, thank you.
Awesome. Perfect. By the way, I want to say you look very dapper, and the blue is for the Dodgers, I'm assuming. Is that right, Alan?
Yeah, sorry, I think the default keeps shutting me off. Can you hear me?
That's okay. I feel like I'm at a seance. Alan, come in. No, I was going to say the blue is for the Dodgers, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
This is game one, and they're playing right now. And, I know a lot of people are going to be like, Dodgers or this show? This show, of course. So I want to ask you a couple questions, and I want you to be honest. And we've got a lie detector hooked up to you, so I will know exactly if you're being honest or not. But the first one is, how are you? Okay, and we're really talking about this challenging year. How are you and your team able to promote and generate sales in an environment that is incredibly challenging in 2020?
Yeah, it's a great question. Fortunately, we've been in business for 17 years, and the first thing we did is we reached out to our clients to see how they were doing. So sales generally come from relationships,
Yeah.
and we're not an upsell kind of place. So when we deal with this situation, our clients are obviously going through the same thing.
Right.
Such huge fans of Burbank, and there's so many businesses like us.
Right.
Production houses, agencies, After Effects houses. So we were all going through it, and we all just kind of started talking as a community, and that really kind of kept the flow of business going. Because even though things push out and schedules get delayed, and you mentioned Netflix, they're one of our clients.
Right.
It's a matter of communication and staying in touch with people and letting them know that we're still here. That was what most people wanted to know, is like, hey, are you guys still up? Are you still working? Are you okay?
I think everybody this year felt really disconnected. I'm speaking from my perspective, but yeah, with companies that you're typically working with or you have a relationship with, it just felt very disconnected.
It does, and we started doing Slack channels.
Okay.
Which generally, there's been that layer of professionalism where you don't get that quite that personal, but that's helped a lot too, because you get to see their situations as well.
Okay. I want to switch gears to your employees. So I know a lot of industries, including mine, really had to re-examine how they communicated with their employees, because in some cases, maybe your employees still are working on site, but more than likely they're working remotely, which again goes back into that disconnection between the employee and the company. And I'm curious, what did you do so that you could still share the vision for the future and keep them connected to Petrol?
Yeah, that's probably the most important question, and I'm excited to answer it. Hopefully this could be beneficial to some people. We've done several things. So the room behind me used to be where our 70 employees would gather every morning. Now,
Right.
So we still do the same kickoff, same time every morning, 8:30 every morning. We've got teams of 30 people that are meeting, and every morning that's our process. So we tried to keep the process as much the same as we possibly could.
Okay.
And something I've done that has proven to be maybe a little awkward at first, probably good comedy material for you. I started just unexpectedly, personally having conversations with the team during the day with nothing to do about work. And just, you do that in company reviews and you do that in personnel reviews, but just making sure that I try to touch base with at least the head of each team and then one member of that team every week. Honestly, just those simple moves have gone such a long way, because everybody's dealing with a different situation. You've got a single parent who's got the kids and they're trying to do meetings.
Yeah.
3 or 4 young up and coming artists that are all in an apartment trying to work together. So each one of them has a special problem. And I think the biggest thing that we've done that's kept everybody together is listen. And then the second thing we did is we started some forums that are about anything but work.
Okay.
Opportunity for people to post like what's going on in their daily life. What are the challenges that they're doing? And it's not a format for complaining. It really turned into more of an inspirational format. And what I've done for them is I've sort of provided daily moments from our daily life here at the office, even though there's only 5 of us in the building. and we got a staff of 75.
Right.
Is let us all stay in touch. And then lastly, we've done virtual happy hours once every couple of weeks. And those have been awesome. We do it on Zoom, and people talk about their week and their families, and it's everything but work. Those things.
And Alan, I was going to say, it sounds to me, and I don't want to read this into it if it's not correct, but it sounds to me like you are starting with the personal connection, so that you are, because everybody's going through something different this year. The world's upside down. So you're starting with that personal connection, which can always lead to, here's what we're doing here at the company, here's what to be excited about, or here's what's up and coming. So it is a great way to, as a conversation starter, to show that care.
100%. And the big thing I think we all embrace, and that's part of tonight, it's part of this whole forum that you guys have generously put on.
Right.
We're lucky to be in Burbank in the entertainment business, working on movies and games.
Right.
A lot of people that are suffering. So, the fact that we're actually doing work and the people in our city are doing work, none of us take that for granted. We all feel exceptionally blessed that we chose this industry.
Thank you for sharing that. I love the approach. And I think what you've said is not specific to your industry. I think anybody watching could say, hey, how could we do that? How could we infuse some of that into our company? And I would also wanted to say, we took a variety of companies that we're talking to, both big and small. You guys are a small to medium-sized business. And so I would ask you, how has petrol advertising improved based on your size, like with these challenges? Like, was there something that was unique to being a small to medium-sized business?
Yeah, I think what it did is it really improved the process. So I'll give you a short answer. It could be long-winded, but I'll condense it. The first month was hellacious.
Right.
Doing it one way for 17 years, you pulled that away from us in a week. And that was tough. We were back to ungodly hours and missing deadlines, and just, we were all trying, but we had to reinvent the process. Right. So letting everybody know that it was okay to fail, as long as we're failing not so big that it was going to affect our business. That transformed the company. And now that process has shifted into this digital one. That's affected the way that we deal with our clients. It's affected the way that we approach the business. So since the pandemic, we've actually hired 3 more people.
Okay.
Business is starting to come back in. I'll leave you with this last thing. I'm an avid walker of Burbank, and there's a couple of production houses right next to us. And in the last 2 months, I'm seeing a lot of production trucks. I'm seeing a lot of, grips by tables with walkie-talkies.
Right.
So people are out, they're starting to shoot, they're starting to rent equipment. So it feels like this nice slow build of people trying to find a way to do work. And we're doing the same thing. We're just encouraging everybody, and it's re-sparked our entrepreneurial spirit.
Wow. Well, you have a lucky group of 75 employees, I might add, Alan. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate that. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're gonna ask Karen to, and there she is. Hello, Karen. Owner of the Talleyrand, that's 7 times now, and Burbank Restaurant Group Support Co-Lead. Glad to see your face. You are definitely a fixture here in Burbank, and we love you. We all know that restaurants have been hit hard during the pandemic. And by the way, hit and then not hit and then re-hit and then scale, like it's not just it hasn't been, as you know, a standard, it hasn't been something that's stayed the same. And you've had to pivot quickly, I'm assuming. Can you give us some examples of how, and you can speak to the Talleyrand or you can speak to the food industry. How have you guys adapted to some of these changes? I'm curious.
Well, thank you so much for letting me be part of this today. It was pretty immediate. It was March 16th and we had to shut down. And March 17th is St. Patrick's Day, our second busiest day of the year. So we were loaded and ready for a major day of celebration at the restaurant. And boom, we had to shut our doors. And so day one was the first day to realize, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? And we were overwhelmed with the generosity of people from Burbank wanting to come and get their corned beef to go. So that showed us great hope that people, still to this day, we're 7 months into it, people crave a little bit of normalcy. If that's a comfort meal from your favorite restaurant, your favorite dessert, a coffee drink at your favorite coffee place, something that gives you a little bit of comfort. And so, yes, we did have to pivot a lot, and it was frequent, and it was unknown, and it was immediate. So we went from doing takeout. We used to open 16 hours a day down to 4 hours a day, doing takeout only. Hit us hard. It was devastating. And so from that, then we reopened in June, excited, ready to go, did that for a month, and we were shut down again. So, now we're kind of in a place where we've got, a lot of tables out in our parking lot. Kudos to the city of Burbank.
Which, by the way, looks great. I drove by the other day and I was like, there's one thing to put tables in your parking lot. There's another way to make it look very enticing. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you. And we're still trying to work on that, make it a little bit better. But by the city of Burbank allowing restaurants to do that, it allowed you to keep your doors open and expand in a way that none of us would be able to do. Takeout is a huge part of our business today, but allowing us to open more tables in a very unusual situation. I never ever thought we'd be in this position today, but we now have, live music on Friday nights. We have a Bloody Mary bar on the weekends. We're trying to just constantly try and find things that are safe, number one, but number two, just kind of bring a little bit of normalcy back to our lives. And so, yeah, it's been a tough journey. I hope luckily we're blessed and we're living in Southern California, and the weather hopefully will stay on our side. Yes. But it's been a tough few months.
Do you still have my Cobb salad?
We do have the Cobb salad every day. Yes, we do.
Bless you. So, and then in switching gears, my next question is about customers, because, it's one thing for you and your employees to have to pivot and make all these changes and adjust your hours and new procedures and protocol. But customers have changing comfort levels coming to the restaurant. And I was wondering how you adapted to those.
So pretty early on, April Easter was a huge eye-opening experience for us. I dreamed when it was our 60th anniversary, we'd have a promotion and a line would be around the building. It had never happened. Easter Sunday arrived and the flock of Burbank came out to Talleyrand. It was awesome, but it overwhelmed us. So we realized that day we needed to change and bring in more phone lines and bring in online ordering, because people want to order in different ways, from the telephone, from their phone, from their laptop, etc. So we've incorporated different ways customers can get a hold of us and how they can order. Also, when they come to pick up their food, some people love to come in. Others like to just have us, they open their trunk, we put the food in, we never see them, and off they go. So it's adapting to the comfort level, and it is a very wide range still today. And I'm glad we can, take care of that range. I think everybody in this industry has tried to put their best foot forward and be as flexible as they can, because every dollar counts, and you want people to walk in your door. And I think we're all about shopping large and small, but the small businesses really need our support around town, all over. We've gone out and found a lot of great new places because, we just got to support them. It's a tough time. So yeah, the gamut is across the board. And I think we're still trying to figure out other ways with Thanksgiving coming. That's our busiest day of the year. What are we going to do? What's our plan? We're still working all that out, but just trying to make it to where it's comfortable for people that don't really want to walk in your door, that want to just wait in their car and you bring it to them and off they go. It works.
Awesome. Well, so it sounds to me like what you're saying, it's all about variety, and gone are the days where a company says, this is the way that we do it, you're going to have to adjust. It's like, we need to adjust because there are so many different ways people want to access us.
And, it's like you've seen, as we all have seen, restaurants that have not opened their doors, or they've closed as the pandemic began. And, not that was always on their control, but if you have the ability to adjust and the ability to work with your crew, which I've been blessed with a crew that's been with me 20 to 50 years, we are able to kind of throw it together and try things and be flexible, because flexibility really, to me right now, is what we as a restaurant need to continue to do each day.
Love it. And real quickly, the support group, the Burbank Restaurant Support Group that you're a co-lead of, has that been a beneficial resource for restaurateurs?
It has. I think that, when that came about in April as well. And I think it just it's a very large group now of hundreds and hundreds of people that can go on and really share their experience about going to a restaurant. And it's in positive light. It's not a place to go slam a restaurant. It's let's build them up and get the word out. And then restaurants can do the same. And so I think, me being I live nearby, we found a ton of new places my family and I've gone to since the restaurant group came about. You just see, oh my gosh, they went there and had, great tamales. They went here and had great ice cream. Yes, it's been very beneficial. I think across the board, it's enabled people that don't have, say, a strong PR department to get your word out about what you're offering. And then people just are very supportive about what they say. And that's what it's about. Just, trying to help each other out and get through this really tough time.
Absolutely. Support local business. This is the time to do it. And like you were saying, explore, if the world is upside down, look at something new. You might find a little gem that you haven't seen before. So, and Burbank has lots of gems.
We sure do.
All right, Karen, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to switch gears to Kelly now, Kelly Linden, who is Chief Executive for Providence St. Joseph Medical Center. Hi, Kelly, how are you?
Hi, Jim. Very well, thank you. Very
Good.
Happy to be here.
We are happy to have you here. And my gosh, Providence has been a part of Burbank. I can't imagine Burbank without Providence. Having worked at Disney Studio Lot for many, many years, I've seen the building go from this to this, and just a great resource to all of the Valley. So again, looking at 2020 and the healthcare industry, wow, you've had to pivot and initiate a lot of new safety protocols almost immediately, I would say in a very short period. What has Providence done to address that for the community?
Well, it has really been an extraordinary time. As you think about February, when we were all watching the media and learning what was happening in New York and the surge of patients that were being seen, and then in our Providence hospitals in Washington, we knew that we had to quickly be ready to address the needs here in this local community. And so we started to stand up those changes, those systems and structures. We really had to change everything in which we were doing, providing care to our community. And it was so important that we keep our caregivers, our nurses, our staff, and our physicians safe, really in a time that was uncertain and unknown what the risk might be. I have to say I'm exceptionally proud of our employees and our physicians and our frontline caregivers who just stepped up and made an extraordinary difference. But we modified everything around access to the hospital. We had to actually delay or hold off on elective procedures to ensure that we had enough personal protection equipment to take care of our caregivers and physicians while keeping our patients safe. We changed our screening protocols as it related to the front of our emergency department entrancing. All of those things were put in place so that we could keep people safe. We saw our first COVID patient on March 5th. And I have to say that the team that came together to care for him did an exceptional job bringing on cutting edge care and pharmaceuticals and medication management to care for this individual who was here for 62 days. And so those changes all at the same time impacting the hospital quite significantly. Our volumes decreased dramatically. And this also had a very significant impact on our physicians. Many of you may know that we have more than 800 physicians and providers on our staff. Nearly 2/3 of them are independent, private practice physicians with 1 or 2 or 3 physicians in their office. And they are private businesses that had to try to sustain themselves through this, I'll use the term unprecedented time, but had to
That'll be the last time though, Kelly. I'm not going to put up with that. Okay, go ahead.
That's fair.
Okay.
But it was an exceptionally difficult time for them.
Yeah.
We did everything we could to do to support our physicians, both within the hospital setting as well as in their private practices, reaching out to them, connecting with them, providing them resources and information around federal and state stimulus funding so that we could stay connected, creating virtual meetings and connection. And they have all done an excellent job modifying their systems and structures, again, to keep their patients safe, but also moving to a virtual environment. That's been a big change as well. Our ambulatory care division sees tens of thousands of virtual visits now a month. And that has changed tenfold prior to the COVID era.
And the thing that, as you were talking, the thing that this struck me is that in a situation like this year, I, as a patient, am looking for comfort. And it's a scary thing to go to find out results or to have, procedures done anytime this year. And I was just thinking what you said, that you have to get ahead of that and make sure that your physicians are safe and they feel cared for and they feel supported, so that in turn they can provide that, because it's not just about making the patient feel comfortable. I mean, it is, but you have to have the physicians feeling comfortable as well.
That's right, and their safety is our utmost concern. It's interesting. We, as I mentioned just a moment ago, our volumes did drop dramatically because the community actually became afraid to come to the hospital. And it wasn't just our hospital, it was hospitals, frankly, across the country. And so we spent a great deal of effort educating our communities, making sure they know that we are here for them, that we're safe for them. People should not be delaying care. We care for people safely every single day.
Right.
And yet we have examples of patients that had stroke symptoms and they didn't come in as soon as they should have or could have. Abdominal pain, heart attack symptoms. These are all things people should not delay care. They should not be concerned about coming to the hospital. We're here for you, we're safe. And we've also found that to be true with wellness exams and screening exams. Many of us put those things off because we were either too busy in the middle of the work that we were doing or too concerned to go into a physician's practice. And I strongly encourage everybody to take care of that, take care of yourself, and be sure you're getting those screenings.
And so, Kelly, you're kind of leading into my next question, which I love. The getting the patients to come in and do those things, which they're hesitant about doing. Is there a couple things that you've put into place to calm their fears so that it is a great experience once they arrive?
Yes, and we have many examples of people who've experienced that. I will share with you that when you come to our facility, you are immediately greeted with an individual doing temperature screening, asking for symptoms. If you are coming to the facility and you have symptoms, then you are directed in a different route. All of our COVID patients are in fact treated in a separate building, separate departments and units. So we're able to keep people separated. We also have separate entrancing for anybody who's coming in for pre-op services, for surgical services, procedures. And the other thing I'll tell you is that we have always been very focused on the cleanliness of our organization. But we have changed our protocols around that as well. All of our rooms that are treating patients are with negative pressure rooms. We have terminal clean processes in place. We use a UV lighting technology. I'll share with you, we've had extraordinary support from the community who have brought donations of food from our local restaurants, which is wonderful, and financial resources, and actually helped us purchase some additional UV lighting equipment to do that additional work. And it's really been extraordinary to see that the community share their love with us.
Burbank's good people. Let me tell you, Burbank's good people. And I before you go, I just want to say one thing, Kelly, is that I had a friend of mine came to Providence for a procedure. And I got to say, not only was protocol in place and it was very organized, but one of the things that stuck in his mind was it was just so calm. And like the minute he walked through the door, it was like, I feel taken care of. There's nothing hectic. There's nothing chaotic about it. So kudos to your team.
Well, thank you for those comments. We're really proud of the exceptional care that we provide and the clinically excellent care we provide. But we've always been about the compassion and the connection with our patients. And so I really appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. And we are going to switch gears again to Kathy Ross, who is president of Magnolia Park Merchants Association. I know you've all been to the Magnolia Park Merchants area because it's the best shopping place around. It's fun, it's unique, it's eclectic, and it's just something for everybody. So, Kathy, thank you for being here. Now, for those of you who you're not aware, Magnolia Park Merchants Association, that includes businesses along Magnolia, like between Hollywood Way and Victory, somewhere in that area. And I'm curious, based on those what am I thinking of here? Stores, I'll say. What changes have these businesses made this year to adjust their operations? Because I'm sure there had to be some significant changes.
Thank you. There are a few things that make Magnolia Park so unique, and not that other areas don't have it as well, but we are a corridor. It actually goes down to Clybourne, actually, but the heart is really from Hollywood Way to probably about...
It's so walkable. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost Buena Vista, but very walkable. But it's made up of very eclectic stores. I like to say at that area, we're kind of the upcycling of Burbank. We take toys and clothes and jewelry and so many of these things, and we are able to resell it. So rather than ending in a landfill, it's somebody who, you know, loved the TV show, had that toy when they were a child,
right?
Loves vintage jewelry, whatever it is. They could come to our area and really enjoy looking around. And then we also are mixing it in with the new things as well. When the other thing is that we have antique stores, clothing stores, restaurants, a lot of coffee shops. We have salons and spas. We have businesses, phone insurance, all sorts. So we have a lot of varying types of businesses in Magnolia Park. And so the opening has been very interesting and difficult. And there were stores, we have a few stores that were deemed essential. So they were able to stay open. And then retailers like my store, Blast from the Past, we thought we were good. We were told at the beginning we'd be closed for 2 weeks. We were closed for 2 months. And during that time, many of us, there was a lot of remodeling going on. The spas and salons were remodeling a lot, putting a lot of money into how to make their stations so that they could have people in and keep everybody safe. Other stores were kind of downsizing so they could rent out other parts. I know Junk for Joy has done a lot of remodeling with what she has. We, along with a lot of other stores, looked into our online business and boosted up our online business. We thought
that's a silver lining right there. I mean, you're concentrating on a part of your business that you probably wouldn't have had so much focus on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in with that, a lot of us started thinking, what can we carry that people who are stuck at home could use? We were fortunate. We had just gotten in a jigsaw puzzle shipment. So we put that online right away, and we were supplying jigsaw puzzles all over the place. And since then, we've also started carrying board games. And I know other stores have also thought, what are these types of things? Tansy, who, if you don't know, it's a very fun plant-based business, but you could go in there and they would show you how to build, you know, terrariums and put different things together. Well, now they have those to go, and they're calling them garden to go kits and terrarium to go kits, where you can take them home and the kids love to put them together. So instead of Magnolia Park really functions for people to come in. So now we're trying to figure out how to help get our services out. And there are stores that have curbside pickup. I know we did do delivery for a while. So all the stores are figuring out, and now our salons had some outside times. Our restaurants are moving outside. But it was very difficult to have neighbor next to neighbor, where one neighbor could be open and the other neighbor couldn't.
Because it really is a community. I mean, it really is. Yeah. So, and first of all, I want to say thank you, because I think you've upped all of our skill levels during the pandemic. Like the things that you guys have, I can make a terrarium now while I'm mixing a drink or something. You know, it's nice. Thank you. So I want to talk about something that's near and dear to every retailer's heart, and that's the holidays. So holidays are coming, no secret. You know, if you're in retail, holiday is already happening. And I know we're not doing the holiday in the park this year. So I'm curious, what are your retailers and your stores planning to do to celebrate the holidays?
Magnolia Park Merchant Association is an entity, an association that tries to group the stores together. Holiday in the Park actually we celebrated our 30th anniversary last year. And this is the first year we've had to cancel it. And that was a very tough decision. And because we as an association actually made that decision months ago, because it takes us almost all year to put it on. We have to fundraise. It has gotten so big that we now have to close the street from Hollywood to Florence. And that is very costly.
Right.
City generously helps us out, but there's a lot we have to do. And people enjoy it. One of the things we're doing this year, and again, thanks to the city, we are upgrading they're called swags. They're the over the street lighted garland decorations.
Oh, nice.
And that brings that holiday feel in. So the city's helping us upgrade those, get new ones with LED lights. So we want to have all these burnout light bulbs. And the other thing we're going to do is encourage stores to still be festive. We're talking about maybe having a decoration contest and try and get people to still bring in little musical groups outside their shops. We have to be careful not to do anything that will attract a huge crowd on any one night. But the association has put together a holiday planning committee, and any store in Magnolia Park that wants to be on this committee can sit in on it, brainstorm with us, help us come up with ideas, because we do want it to be festive. We do want people to come there and feel safe. And we have to be careful that we don't create an atmosphere that might end up having us get shut down.
And I got to tell you, and you already know this, but I'm just saying it out loud. I mean, this year more than ever, we need that. So it's upping your game for the holidays. I think people are going to embrace it with big hugs, virtual hugs. Mm-hmm. I think people need to have that experience now more than ever. So thank you to you and the entire Magnolia Park group. And thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of our panelists. You guys did a great job. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you for sharing information. One of the things I encourage everyone out there watching to do is think of some of those things that they shared today. It's not just unique to their business or their industry. It's something that maybe you can incorporate into your world. Hopefully you got some silver linings out of that. I know that there were a lot of things that were mentioned today that happened as a result of 2020 that probably wouldn't have been focused on. So those are all good learnings. I also want to say thank you to our Guide to Burbank advertisers. These companies support us so much. We love you. So if you look up there and you're like, oh, I love that company, it's like, we do too. So those are our Guide to Burbank advertisers. They've helped make things possible for all of us here today. I also want to send a big thank you out to the Burbank Chamber of Commerce celebrating 100 years and the team here who put today's State of the City reception on. It was a lot of time, a lot of planning. We were going to a place that we'd never been before, so hopefully you had a good time and enjoyed yourself. We want you to stay for State of the City address at 6 o'clock. There's a few ways that you can watch. You can go downtown and look through the window, but I don't recommend that at all because it'll just be weird. What I'd like you to do is to go to Spectrum Channel 6 or AT&T Channel 99, or you can go to the Burbank Channel on YouTube, and you can watch the State of the City address with our mayor at 6 o'clock. So we've given you a little bit of time. You can go grab another glass of wine, check the Dodgers, change your pants, whatever you need to do. We really appreciate you being here today. Once again, I'm Jim Babcock. Thank you to all of you. Yay, Burbank. We love you. And go Dodgers, go blue. We'll see you soon.